Superintendent of the London City School District, along with the faculty of London High School.
of the class of 2001, and a genuine welcome and congratulations to the parents and the friends of these distinguished graduates. Members of the class of 2001, faculty, parents, and relatives were all major contributors to the success of these youngsters that we have before us today, who are now assuming the mantle of responsibility that goes with commencement. It is my pleasure at this time to give recognition to the London City School District Board of Education, the high school faculty, and the honored class who has joined us today. The Board of Education for this 2001 school year is composed of Mr. Rick Parsons, President, Ms. Vicki Gear, Vice President, Mr. Roy Brown, Board of Education member, Mr. Marvin Peterson, and Mr. Jim Roddy to complete the 5-member Board of Education representing the voters and residents of the London School District. Please join me in recognizing our Board of Education members for their dedication and their commitment. I'm also pleased to recognize our London distinguished faculty members who have worked so diligently to prepare these students for this most significant occasion. Would the London faculty and staff please stand and accept our congratulations. It is also a genuine honor to recognize those teachers who are retiring from active service as educators with the London School District. Dietmar Mike Collier has faithfully served the London School District for 29 years as the industrial arts teacher in our high school program. Christine Samuel is retiring following 29 years of faithful service as teacher of our kindergarten students. Patricia Kelly has served the students of the Deer Creek Elementary School for 27 years. Please join me in recognizing all of our retirees for their many years of service and dedication to our country. Each year at commencement, as a matter of tradition, we honor a class of past graduates. Members of the 50-year class, the class of 1951, who walked through the halls of the London High School, having grown up under the ravages of World War II, who were graduating into the embrace of a conflict that was called a police action, later known as the Korean War. Harry Truman was President of the United States. Alvin Barkley was Vice President. Humphrey Bogart received the Best Actor of the Year in 1951. Willie Mays was a rookie. Ladies and gentlemen, this class of 1951 joined a workforce who saw the assassination of a president, witnessed a man walk on the moon, and otherwise contributed to the most impressive economic status for middle class in the history of the world. Congratulations to those members of the class of 1951. They also said that crew cuts and flat tops were in vogue at that point in time, and I don't see many of those flat tops and crew cuts available right now these days.
It is an honor to introduce the speaker today. She has been teaching English for 25 years and also here for 25 years at London High School. During the 4 years of London High School year, 4 years more. She has shown her dedication to push me more to do my best. No matter what I try, she never let me slide for any reason at all. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present Miss Mary Dees.
Up here, but I will try very hard to make you proud. Of course, that's going to be a little hard to do in the 5 minutes you told me I'm allowed to speak. Actually, the 5 minutes is going to be a problem, because if I manage to get in all the names of students who said, "Hey, Mrs. Dees, get me in there," I'd be up here for at least an hour. So, Andre, I'm not going to be able to get your name in, okay? Now, 5 minutes is rapidly running out, so I guess I better get to this speech. I'm pretty sure that most of you have heard of Robert Fulghum. He's written several bestseller books, and many years ago he created a list entitled, "All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten." Doesn't say much for education, does it? Actually, I have great respect for Mr. Fulghum and for his list, except I'll have to admit it saddens me greatly. You see, it made me realize that I must be awfully slow. I'm pretty sure I still haven't learned everything I need to know, and I'm absolutely certain that every year I learn something new, usually from one of you. As I stewed about what I could possibly say to you that would be of any value, let alone something you would remember 5 minutes after you went out of that door, I decided that I was going to create my own list, and that I would share with you some of the life's lessons that I have learned over the last 25 years of teaching. My list is not in any particular order, other than the fact that the first one is directly related to you. Lesson 1, students are people too. Now, I know that some of you are having a little bit of trouble believing that my colleagues and I believe that, and I will admit that it has upon occasion been a matter of debate in the faculty lounge. However, the good news is you always win. I think maybe the real lesson in that is that each of us is just human. Sometimes we're good, sometimes we're not. But if we can remember that we're all in the same general condition, that we're all just people, that we're all capable of mistakes, and if we could respect that in each other, I think life would be a whole lot simpler. Lesson 2, being likable counts. I stole this one from newswoman Leslie Shaw. I had the opportunity to hear her speak this fall, and for some reason when she said those 3 words, being likable counts, it really hit home with me. I wondered, am I likable? Do I do things each day that help other people feel good about themselves? You see, I think it's that, helping other people feel good about themselves, that makes us capable of liking ourselves. It allows us to be human to one another. And what could possibly count more than feeling good about yourself? I think if we're looking at ways to reduce violence, that would be a great place to start. Lesson 3, it's okay to make mistakes. Wow, how many times have one of you had somebody been all over your case because you made a mistake? By the same token, how many of you have been downright mean to someone because of something that they did that they shouldn't? The reality is, we all make mistakes. And if we make them repeatedly, especially if we make the same ones repeatedly, then maybe we ought to evaluate what the problem is. But simple, unintentional mistakes shouldn't become huge issues. We need to cut each other some slack. I need to, and so do you. You are going to find yourself tossed out into a world of strangers who also make mistakes. And I think how you treat them is going to dictate how you get treated in return. Lesson 4, don't take yourself too seriously. This one actually goes right back to lesson 3. Because if we take ourselves too seriously, then we beat ourselves up when we make mistakes, because making mistakes isn't allowed. Worse yet, we don't learn to laugh at ourselves and at some of the dumb things that we sometimes do. And we all do dumb things. I eventually learned that if I admitted that I had done something stupid or silly or just made a mistake, and I laughed at myself, it allowed others to laugh too. There's a huge difference between being laughed at and having people laugh with you. Lesson 5, smile as often as you can. Actually, it'll make people wonder what you've been up to. Seriously, for some good reason, or for some reason not such a good reason, it's so much easier to be negative than it is to be positive. Why is that? Why is it that we can frown or glare or stare or sneer at someone so easily, and yet we have to work at smiling? I wonder why it's easier to look at the floor and pretend that we're deep in thought about something rather than looking someone else in the eye and nodding and smiling. Being smiled at makes people feel good. Feeling good is contagious. What a great disease that would be to catch. Lesson 6, it's okay to take risks. Now, I'm not talking about life-threatening stunts, okay? I'm talking about doing things differently than you have done them before. Doing things you may not know for certain how to even do. A piece of advice that my husband often gives our daughters is that if you aren't at least occasionally uncomfortable about what you're doing, you're not growing. It takes doing things, new things, or old things in a new way to challenge us to grow. That allows us to mature and become truly independent. Being safe is easy. Taking risks is not. You are each about to take a risk. Going away from home, whether to college or to your first new apartment and your first new job, it's a little scary. It does involve risk, but it's okay to take risks, and you will be okay. Lesson 7 is one I really had to learn. It's choose your battles. Everything cannot be a battle, or if it makes more sense, everything cannot be an argument. You will wear yourself out if you don't learn to let some things go. If something is truly important to you, then fight for it. But before you do battle, decide whether whatever it is you are fighting for is worth your time and energy. You have a limited supply of energy, so use it wisely. Lesson 8, it's good to do things right, but it's even better to do the right things. That may sound a little strange, but most of us, most of the time, know how to do something right. We know what others expect. We know this is the way something gets done. Sometimes, though, we have to step away from what we know in our heads and do instead what we feel in our hearts. Maybe the easiest example for me to explain this is to go right back to the classroom. The letter of the law is that if a student walks in late, he's tardy, and he has to go to the office and get a tardy slip, and maybe he's going to end up having to take his exams. The letter of the law. But the spirit of the law is that maybe something happened. If that student happened to be walking in the building with his books and they dropped all over the hallway and that's what made him late to class, maybe we need to go back to lessons 1 and 3. Students are people too, and it's okay to make mistakes. Sometimes there's something greater to be gained by doing the right thing instead of doing things right. Each of you will occasionally face similar challenges. Sometimes you have to follow your heart. Lesson 9, listen. Really listen when other people talk. Have you ever noticed that when you are in conversation with another person, that instead of listening to what they have to say to you, you're planning the next thing that you're going to say? Learning to actually listen is a lifelong job, but you'll be amazed at what you actually learn when you truly do listen. Lesson 10, and folks, I'm going to sound like your mother a little bit for a second. You have to set your own limits, and you have to set them ahead of time. Know what is right for you. Follow what you value, what will allow you to live with yourself each and every day. You are going to find yourselves faced with all kinds of new challenges. You will be in contact with people who will try to get you to do the things they want you to do. If you know what is right for you, if you have made those decisions, you will be able to say no if you need to. If you haven't made some important decisions about your influence, then you may let others have more influence over you than they should. Lesson 11, and there are only 15, so don't panic. Lesson 11, each of us has to commit to a fair share of responsibility. Obviously, you have to be responsible for yourself. What isn't so obvious is that we each have a social responsibility. We can't just take care of ourselves. Most of you are familiar with being asked to support your schools, to donate to the homeless, to bring in food for those who don't have it. Those things which each of us recognizes as a social responsibility, but we also need to assume some other responsibilities. Many of you already do. Many of you have held class office, or you've belonged to organizations that work to do things for people. Many of you have done things like coach Little League, or work on committees to get a whole variety of things done. There is a never-ending list out there of needs. I guess that's what your community service was all about. Most of you discovered that giving something of yourself really was rewarding. Please carry that over, and know that if each of us contributes something, the list isn't so overwhelming. Lesson 12, nothing, absolutely nothing in your life will ever be more important than positively influencing the life of a child. A few of you intend to be teachers, so you've already made the decision to be that positive influence. But the rest of you will have that opportunity too. Not in the classroom, but with your siblings, with your own children, or maybe just the kids in the neighborhood. You never know when you do something or say something that will impact the life of a child. Just as we tell you that you are our future, so are those younger than you your future. It is never too soon to start working at making that future bright. Lessons 13, 14, and 15 are really quite simple. Lesson 13, well, actually, I'm going to have to step aside from my script for a second, because this lesson I want to play for you in song. For those of you in the audience, I had most of these characters as juniors, and I had almost all of them this year as seniors, some of them 3 or 4 periods in a row. So we've kind of bonded in a way that I don't think teachers and students often get a chance to bond. That's unfortunate, and I have totally enjoyed that ability with these guys. This lesson, lesson 13,
you don't never need help from nobody else. All you have to do now is spread yourself. Whatever you do, do it good. Whatever you do, long, long.
get it. That lesson number 13 is clear to these guys, and that's celebrate yourself, express yourself. Each of you is unique. Each of you is important. Each of you has something to contribute. Never be afraid to express yourself. Lesson 14, take time for yourself. If there's something you want to do, don't put off doing it until the time is right. You may never get to do it at all. And when you find yourselves getting all stressed out, do something just for you. And last of all, lesson 15, life is short. Sometimes it's important to eat dessert first.
this class of 2001 has some very interesting statistics. We understand that students attending 4-year schools from this class are 52 or 41%. Students attending 2-year technical schools are 40 or 32%. Students entering the armed services are 4%, and students seeking employment are 23%. And having just read the Dayton paper this morning where they did an analysis of about 10,000 students in that whole Miami Valley, they indicated that this class of 2001, 28% of you prefer Wendy's over McDonald's. We know in London that we're more KFC people down here because of all the association and support we get from KFC. So congratulations to that class of 2001. We're pleased right now to introduce the scholarship winners for both the Alice Louise Ridenauer Wood Memorial Scholarship. Those students who have been designated to receive that $3,718 scholarship are Sienna Babb, Ross Deo, Eric Evanu, Amelia Harris, Julie Monty, Ashley Nigel, Bridget O'Neill, Sarah Riedel, Emily Rogers, Amy Smiley, Nick Van Horn, Kelly Wall, David Wasserman, and Joanne Young. The London schools are very honored to be supported by so many philanthropic folks who have donated substantial dollars to help our young people achieve that next level of success. The Fred Purcell Scholarship is one of those examples of an endowment designed to help our students. And the winner of that scholarship this year is Sarah Riedel. That scholarship is $8,000 per year. Sarah, if you would please come up and accept this scholarship. As I indicated, the value of the Purcell Scholarship is estimated at between $8,000 and $10,000. It's a very significant. You were supposed to clap with the music. Sorry. It's my honor, sincere honor and privilege to announce the top 20 students of London High School, class of 2001, according to grade point averages. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, these 20 folks deserve your sincere recognition. Among these 130 or so graduates are some of the best academicians, scholars, and students I've ever been associated with. These are the best of the best. Number 20, Kelly Wall. And would you please rise and remain rising? Kelly. Stephanie Spring. I guess you can't remain rising once you've risen. Emily Rogers. Stephen Ruffin. Robbie Goodyear. Kenneth Baker. Ashley Nagel. Bridget O'Neill. Philip Bennett, Amelia Harris, David Wasserman, Joanne Young, C. Nick Van Horn, Sarah Riedel, and second among the class, Sienna Babb. And the best scholar of this
auspicious group, and Ross Bale.
Salutatorian Sienna Babb and valedictorian Ross Dale, this small token of appreciation in honor of their success and hard work. Congratulations, Sienna and Ross. May you please come forward.
Class of 2001, please rise. Mr. Parsons, members of the Board of Education, it is a pleasure and an honor for me to certify to you that these young men and women have met or exceeded the requirements for graduation as prescribed by the state of Ohio and the Board of Education. Therefore, these students are eligible at this time to receive from you their high school diplomas. Yes. You may be seated.
Very lucky. I have a bad cold. I can't talk. First, I'd like to thank the administration for the wisdom to have this indoors where it's 115 degrees. Tom, I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist that. Two thank yous come to mind. One to Mary Dietz for the wonderful comments, and two to the class of 2001 for the wisdom to choose Mrs. Dietz as commencement speaker. It would be very easy to talk about the accomplishments of this senior class. To talk about me and the London school community and how we will miss the class of 2001. Sometimes someone from outside the community can better capture the essence and heart of a class. I would like to read a letter received from Wallace Daniel Sprague III, a Columbus police officer. This is addressed to Mr. Steve Berger, principal, staff, and students. I recently had the pleasure of working security at the London High School prom and the Hyatt Regency. In my 13 years as a Columbus police officer, I have never been around. I have never been around such well-behaved young men and women. I was truly impressed with the way the students interacted with each other and with the adults. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting all of the students, but those that I did meet were extremely friendly and respectful. Those involved with these young men and women, from the principal to the parents, should feel very proud. I've worked many high school events in the past and have never felt compelled to write a letter complimenting the behavior of students. In today's society, young adults are often viewed in a bad light, and I wanted to make sure the credit was given where credit was due. Thank you once again for the breath of fresh air. Thank you. This board is very pleased to accept the class of 2001. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, it is our honor and our privilege.
Patricia! Wright. Graduating with honors, Kelly Lynn Wall. Emily Ray Hamilton. Jeremy Paul Abbott. Aaron Keith Akers. Michael Shane Allen. Graduating with honors, Patricia Gail Allison. Graduating with honors, Sienna Summer Dabb. Graduating with honors, Kenneth Allen Baker. Christy Jeanette Baker. Megan Rochelle Ballard. Benjamin Jefferson Barker.
Bradley Blair. Elizabeth K. Booth. Amy Lynn Drake. Nathan Paul Gregory Branch. Michael Matthew Brown. Gloria Danielle Marie Brown. Travis Lee Brown. Erin Elizabeth Bullock. Graduating with honors, Courtney and Janetta Burchett. Heather Jean Burgoon. Heather Dawn Burks. Joshua Martin Byers. Jen Pauline Campbell.
Akeem Elijah Clerk. Joshua Michael Clifton. Michael Joe Hoyle. Sarah Marie Cooper. Wendy Nicole Cutler. Eric Milton Daniel. Crystal Ann Davidson. Jonathan Davis. Heather Nicole DeLong. Graduating with honors, Philip Nicholas Dennett. Graduating with honors, Nathan Ross Daya. Graduating with honors, Erin Elizabeth Doom. Lyda Jean Dunn. Emily Maxine Dunstan.
Eric Scott Ivano. With honors, Eric Scott Ivano. Lacey Dawn Fairchild. Marcus Dwayne Gandy. Brooke Amanda Gill. Graduating with honors, Darby Lynn Goodyear. Bradley Joseph Gorman. Graduating with honors, Elizabeth Ann Hamilton. Andrea Michelle Hammonds. Graduating with honors, Amelia Annette Harris. Wallace Matthew Henry. Christopher John Hiles. Paul Hiles.
Marie Hines.
Jacqueline Marie Hurst. Joshua Charles Inlow. Jordy James Jackson. Ashley Renee Jester. Graduating with honors, Brian James Knowles. Molly Elizabeth Poe. Ryan David Ladd. Graduating with honors, Brian Jonathan Blaney. Scott Jacob Leistico. Eric Stephen Leslie. Beth Ann Lytle. Trevor Benjamin Litchfield. Elizabeth Marie Long. Shannon Michael Long.
Kenneth Ray Lowe. Beth Ann Marshall. Christopher Allen McHenry. Kayla Renee McLean. Graduating with honors, Jennifer Michelle McNamara. Brianna Nicole Meredith. Amy Elizabeth Millar. Wendy Sue Morgan. Graduating with honors, Ashley Nicole Nagel. Elizabeth Ann Nagy. Bridget Marie O'Neill with honors. Heidi Renee Flug.
Robert Lee Poe. Jared Lee Pollock. Nathan Zane Pollock. Stephen Edward Pollock Jr. Elizabeth Jane Potter. Robert Leland Presley III. Jason Aaron Robb. Stephen Ian Reffitt. Vanessa Renee Ryder. Graduating with honors, Sarah Elizabeth Riedel. Mark Allen Robinson. Patrick William Rocky. Graduating with honors, Emily Ann Rogers. Matthew Thomas Sanders.
Bradley Derek Seaburn. Leroy Patrick Singstock. Donald Mark Schellabarger. Graduating with honors, Amy Lynn Smiley. Heather Marie Smith. Samantha Joe Smith. Samuel Lee Solers. Graduating with honors, Stephanie Odessa Spring. Kevin Mark St. John.
Tiffany Ann Steele. Michael Anthony Tackett. Brandon Michael Timmons. Ashley Margaret Topper.
Andre Lamar Tyree. Graduating with honors, Christopher Nicholas Van Horn. Dominic Morgan Ventresca. Joseph Eugene Burtz. Graduating with honors, David Michael Wasnick. Graduating with honors, Christopher David Weiss. Brandon Scott Wheeler. William Andrew Whitelow. Emily Kathleen Wilderman. Richard Scott Willard. Joylyn Williams. Christina Lee Wilson. Grant Richard Hornell. Graduating with honors, Joe Ann Young.
Intimidating thing in this world is a blank sheet of paper. But I did not fully understand the meaning of this statement until I sat down to write this speech. 7 revisions later, I hope that the words that I express to you today will be of some importance to you in the future. 13 years of long and arduous work have now reached a bittersweet conclusion. It may be a conclusion, though, of our childhood, but it is the beginning of our lives as adults. We now stand on the threshold of a world of uncertainty and unfamiliarity, not really understanding, or knowing what our future has in store for us. But before you take that first hesitant step, I hope that you carry with you a few pieces of advice that I give to you today. First, follow the dreams of your heart. As small children, we thought of dreams as a place to go and sleep, and hoping only meant wanting Christmas presents to match the wish list you sent to Santa. As the years passed, we examined what the world has to offer. We found our niche and hoped that it meant finding ourselves and success within our talents. But no matter what your dream may be, remember that drive and dedication can take a person anywhere. Second, never let anyone break you. We've all heard the cliche that the world is full of harsh and destructive people. The sad reality is, though, if we haven't found out already, that this statement is true. There will be people who mock you, who torment you, who try to bruise you with words. There will be those who try to steer you away from the path that you have chosen and feel the most comfortable. But here's the truth. If you stay true to yourself and keep a firm head on your shoulders, the world will be yours, because no one ever defeated a person who sought success. And lastly, our friend and mentor, Mr. Berger, supplied each member with the class of 2001 with a piece of advice that I hope will be helpful to you as you enter the real world. If there is ever a time when a challenge arises, a good way to overcome it is not by opening up a can, but a 55-gallon drum of bud. I wish you much success and happiness through your years, and I hope that you guys will be successful in your years to come, no matter what your endeavors hold. In class of 2001, to finally put a seal on our years here at London High School, will you please join me in the turning of the tassels? hope you guys have a nice floating into the future.
The class of 2001 has chosen to donate to the Marquis Fund, which was started by last year's class of 2000. I'm happy to say, with the help of Student Council, it is now completed. So hopefully construction will be started soon. Now for the senior video.
Mr. Parsons that I was the one who decided to have graduation inside. I'm even happier to announce the downpour started about 2:01. There's heavy lightning and gales outside right now. I'm going to share just a few comments very, very briefly with the seniors, because that's who I care about today. The rest of you will probably feel totally clueless about everything I say. That's happened before, don't worry about it. Robert, my capo, where are you? Raise your hand. Robert, it is true. All the things you suspected the last 2 years. My last name is Soprano. Tony is in fact my brother. I do deal in waste management. Joanne, where are you? Joanne, there you are. Joanne, I do own a pair of blue jeans. I own a pair of sneakers, Converse white high tops. Joanne, I do not sleep in a three-piece suit. Brad, you and Scotty, where are you? One day soon, gentlemen, we shall share the breakfast of champions together. And BJ. To all the band members, going through Pennsylvania at 4 in the morning, that was not me snoring in the back of the bus. Jackie, raise your hand and admit it. You all know the last thing in the world I wanted to do at homecoming was risk making a fool of myself in public, or to dance, or to bust moves. But I had to deal with Brad and Ryan, and I had no choice. I will say simply, you are the best ever. It's been an honor.